Hello everyone, this is Damon with Pixlab Software, and for this video I'm going to be going over the Image Extract version 2.0 HTML panel. Now this is quite a bit better than version 1, so I highly recommend updating. Now with this panel it does require CC 2020 version 21.2 or higher, and that is because it uses the new updated select subject algorithm, and this select subject was updated in version 21.2 of Photoshop. So because it is so much better than the older select subject, I made it so this panel requires that update. Now, don't expect that this panel is going to be able to batch process thousands of images without you needing to do any touch-ups. I just want to get that out there right now. You will have to touch some images up, and if you're afraid of Photoshop, don't understand Photoshop layers, and really don't want to get your hands dirty in Photoshop doing a little bit of editing, this panel is really not for you. And I'll just say that right up front now. And also the select subject algorithm, it does base its mask off of that in this panel. So I have no ability myself to go in and edit that algorithm. It pretty much is what it is. With that said, Adobe is continually improving that. So as Adobe updates Photoshop, that algorithm is going to improve, and this panel is going to improve. So if you're one of those people that doesn't like updating their Photoshop version, you may miss out on a critical Photoshop update where it improves that select subject algorithm, and the panel may not be working as good as it could as if you hadn't updated. So I recommend keeping your Photoshop up to date, and you can always install multiple versions of Photoshop. So when 2021 comes out, you can install that and keep 2020. So you don't have to worry about updating Photoshop and breaking things because you don't have to remove your old version. So let's just get started here. I got a few images. I'm just going to do a quick demo and talk about it. Starting with something like this, it's pretty simple. And generally when your images are this simple and you've got a solid white background, it usually does a pretty good job. And you can see here that, more or less this was one click. It does give us some layers to touch up in Photoshop. There's a color fix layer. There's a layer with your mask. And you could do any editing in Photoshop at this time. Like, for instance, we could go into our mask. And if you needed to erase something, you could erase it. If you needed to brush something in, you could brush it in. And you can use any of your Photoshop tools at this time. I'm just going to undo those. And then when you're ready for the image to be just a single layer, you can merge that with this button into a single layer. Or you can hit merge and crop, and it's going to merge it and crop off all of the excess. So you've got both of those options. Let's move into something a little bit more complicated here. And now this is an image that was shot with the pose that's used for the Easy Team Builder team compositing software. And poses like this usually work pretty well with the software. I'm just going to hit remove background and demonstrate. Now areas around the feet where it's not a pure solid white background, it might struggle a bit with some of those areas. And you can see around the shoelace it missed that, and it left some shadows under the feet. But you know what? For doing Easy Team Builder composites, this is usually good enough, something like this. So if you batch process and all of your images look about like this, you could probably just get away with building your team composites. And keep in mind too, when you're building team composites, they're going to be smaller, so you don't have to really pixel peep and get everything pixel perfect, especially if you're using a brighter background. Now, the darker your background, if you're extracting off last light, the more flaws you'll see. The lighter the background, the less flaws you'll see. And also that's why it builds a solid color background to start, because against the checkerboard, you're not going to see those flaws. And when you have a solid color background in here, you're going to be able to see those flaws a little bit better. All right, moving on to some sports images. Now, I know there's a lot of sports shooters out there that use Pixlab, and the select subject algorithm is tuned to see people. It's not programmed to see objects very well. So if I just demonstrate here, I already know this image is not going to pick up the ball. And you can see that ball disappeared. And also in the hair, you can see there's some touch-ups in the hair that's needed. And that's, like I'm saying here, expect you're going to have to do some touch-ups. Now, something like this, I'm going to make a video with this particular image and show that it's really not that difficult, and I could touch this up in probably less than a minute, maybe closer to 30 seconds if I was to guess. But keep in mind, those are the kind of touch-ups that you may need to make. And in your batch processor, there is a mode to allow you to pause the touch images up as it processes. So be sure to watch that video as well. I suggest watching all these videos actually, because if you send me a request to help you with an image and I've got a video for it, I'm just going to send you to those videos anyway. Again, another softball image here, just to demonstrate again that it's really not tuned to objects. You can see that bat's partially erased, a little bit of the glove, and the hair might require a bit of touch-up. I chose images for this demonstration here that I knew were going to show you some slight problems, just so that you know what to expect going into this. And then just to show you an image that was not shot against white, I mean, this will go and remove backgrounds from any image. And some images, like this image in particular here, it works pretty good. Now I can go in and brush up. And what did I do? Oh, I'm on the... It's on the... Okay. We'll get it here. So I just brushed off that piece of hair that was there. But just to show you, you can remove backgrounds from images that weren't shot against a solid color. You may have to do a little more work and do some more touch-up, but it's often possible to extract images that were not shot against a solid white. And anyway, that pretty much covers just the getting started part to show you what the panel does. And as mentioned, I have to actually close all the images to see the batch processor. So I'm going to do that real quick. So in the batch processor, it will allow you to batch process, and there's different modes. Like I mentioned before, there is a mode to extract and edit, so it'll pause for you to edit each image. There's an extract auto, to where it'll just automatically extract all of the images with one click, so it's a walk-away batch. And then your save types are PNG, TIFF, and PSD. You can also save PNG and PSD, or TIFF and PSD. But what you can do, you can run extract auto and save as PSD. Then once those images are done, you can come back and run an edit only batch, so you don't have to be in front of the computer while it extracts. You can run your extractions with the PSD, which saves the layers, and then run a batch mode for editing the PSDs to where it'll open up just those PSD files, and you can hit save and continue for the ones that look good, or edit the ones that need edited and then save and continue. And I showed this in the batch processing video, so be sure to watch that as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you're interested at all in image extract, please be sure to visit our website. That is pixnub.com.